work at the Sanford Underground Research Facility in Lee. My background's in physics, but I've always had a high interest in astronomy, and in 1991, I was working out in Berkeley. I worked out there at Lawrence Berkeley National Lab for 27 years before I moved out here. And in 1991, a friend of mine told me about this eclipse that was going to happen in 1990, that was going to happen in 1991 down in Mexico. And she had gone to see several eclipses, and she thought it was a great thing. So we rented a couple of condos and took our family down there. We had about 12 of us, I think, on the beach in Cabo San Lucas. And we saw this eclipse, and it was almost 7 minutes long. It's like the longest of all the series of eclipses. So it was the most fantastic event ever. I took my kids and some of us, we went out to the desert, and we just had the whole place to ourselves and watched it from outside the car, and it was just great. And since then, I've been going around. I've been letting the cosmos decide where I should travel, and that's what I put all my discretionary money into, is going on these trips. And so I've gone, since then I've gone to, let's see, Turkey, the Galapagos. The last one was Indonesia, just this last March. And the one before that was Svalbard Island, which was way north of Norway. So it just gives you a chance to go to these places you would never.
And now Alliance. You'll be so
about
well traveled.
And now Alliance. and I was thinking, oh, well, next year it'll be really easy. I can just go wherever there looks like there's no clouds. But then this NASA project came up. And each state has these space grant consortiums. Mostly it's fellowship money for undergraduates across the state that are interested in science and engineering careers. And so that's how they're funneling money to these Eclipse projects. So the Nebraska team is actually going to be launching from Grand Island. They're out in the eastern part of the state. And the Minnesota team's launching from Grand Island. And then Colorado and Wyoming teams are both launching from Wyoming. And so we're the only team that has chosen western South Dakota, western Nebraska to launch from. So, but it should be a lot of fun. And after I'm done here, I'm going over to the high school to meet with the science teachers to talk about how we can get the students here in town. So let me give you a little bit of science behind an eclipse, and it's pretty short, so I know that's probably not your main interest. But basically, an eclipse happens when the moon gets right between the sun and the earth, and if the orbits are right so that the size of the moon is just enough to block all the light from the sun, you have a total eclipse. If the moon's a little closer in and it's a little smaller than the sun, you have a ring around the outside, and that's called an annular eclipse. But what we'll see next year is a total eclipse. So for 2+ minutes, the sun will be totally blocked by the moon.